On June 13th, 1994, 13-year-old Nicholas Barkley vanished without a trace. He'd been playing basketball with his friends at a San Antonio neighborhood park, but never returned home that night.
3 years later, out of nowhere, Nicholas contacted his grieving family to let them know he was alive.
Kidnapped and pressed into service in a European sex trafficking ring, Nicholas had managed to escape and was desperate to get back home. The boy who walked through the front door of the Barkley residence was tall, even for a 16-year-old, and he picked up a French accent while being overseas. Most oddly, his blonde hair was now sort of brown, as were his formerly blue eyes. But his parents didn't care. They were just thankful to have their son back home again. For 6 months, Nicholas began reacclimating to his life in America, and then a private investigator showed up. He said that Nicholas's story didn't add up. He also said that the nearly 17-year-old Nicholas had physical traits that could not be explained by a mere few years' difference in age. In 1998, the FBI took the teenager's fingerprints and tested his DNA.
What they found shocked everyone.
Nicholas Barkley was not a 17-year-old American boy, but rather Frederic Pierre Bourdin, a nearly 24-year-old French man who had fooled European authorities, the U.S. consulate, the FBI, and most astonishingly, Nicholas's own family. Known to Interpol as the Chameleon, Bourdin was believed to have masqueraded under no fewer than 500 false identities. Bourdin pleaded guilty to passport fraud and perjury in federal court and spent the next 6 years in prison before being returned to France in 2003.
And that might have been the end of it. But it's not.
On July 19th, 1996, 6-year-old Leo Bali went camping with his family and some friends in the mountains outside of Grenoble, France. He vanished while on a hike, and despite a massive search, no trace of him was ever found. That is until 2004, when Leo showed back up in Grenoble, alive and well.
You see where this is going.
14-year-old Leo was, in fact, 30-year-old Frederic Bourdin. His return didn't pass the sniff test, and the French police intercepted him before he had a chance to ruin Leo's parents' lives yet again. The serial imposter was back at it again later that same year, in Spain, where he claimed to be a teenager named Ruben Sanchez Espinoza, whose mother had been killed in the 2004 Madrid train bombings, which claimed the lives of 193 people and injured 2,500, the deadliest terrorist attack in Spanish history.
Once again, he was found out and deported to France.
The next year, in 2005, Bourdin passed himself off as Francisco Hernandez Fernandez, a 15-year-old Spanish orphan whose parents had died in a car accident. The 31-year-old spent a month as a junior high student. He used cosmetics to remove his facial hair and constantly wore a baseball cap to cover his receding hairline. However, one of the school administrators saw Bourdin in a news report and recognized him as one of his students. Once again, Bourdin found himself in prison. That was the last time Bourdin impersonated anyone. He married, had 5 kids, and settled into a rather normal life. Or at least that's what he wants us to believe.
Stay curious, my friends.